What's up, everybody? I am super excited today to bring you Tricia Prues. Tricia helps local businesses increase visibility through Facebook page management and provides Facebook ad services to bring more leads and sales to businesses. What sets her apart from other social media managers, though, out there is that she truly gets to know her clients, both personally and in their business, in order to provide the best service and client experience possible. Some of Tricia's clients have even said that she cares deeply about their business, listens carefully to guidance, and over delivers. She makes engaging with their audience so much easier so they can focus on what they do while staying connected online, and that her positivity and joyful passion for helping clients succeed shines through in her work. She also loves the freedom that online work has given her, and she is planning on road schooling her two kids while they travel the United States with her and her husband, Jeremy. And that has me excited because if anybody knows me, I live in an RV too. So it's super cool that she's going to be doing that. We connected on that immediately. Anyways, Tricia, I want to throw it over to you. Say hello to everybody listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody. Thank you, Matt, for having me. I'm really excited to chat. I love the RV. I think what you're in right now is the first model that we ever looked at. So that's pretty fun.
Oh, that's so cool. My favorite part's the outdoor kitchen. I got to say, I tell people that all the time.
Yes.
If you're going to get an RV, the outdoor kitchen, it just, especially when it feels good outside, you don't have to smoke up the inside. It's tops.
It's a must.
um, All right, so real quick to kick things off, what we're going to do is a pod deck question. Anybody who's watched the other episodes knows. Start off with one of these randomly generated. I draw one at random, and they are my sponsor. And if anybody wants them, you can see sponsorpoddex.com. Use coupon code TheMattPeet, all one word, to get 10% off. Save a few bucks there when you buy these. Anyways, let's go ahead. See, this one feels right. Let's see what we got. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Be yourself. I'd
I
have to
like
say that's it.
I
That's
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Yep. Be you, be yourself. I
There
started doing Facebook Lives at one point, and to look back on them, they were embarrassing. I go back and I was all stiff and had notes. Fast forward a year and a half, I'm sitting at my table with my kid on my lap and my phone. And those are the ones that connected with people because I was being me.
I love that. And honestly, I just recently started doing that online. Back in the day, I was doing the same thing. I was like, felt like you need to be all professional, and I like go put on a button-up shirt and everything for my Facebook lives. And it's like, no, I'm literally t-shirts most of the time. But yeah,
Yep.
it's so freeing to just be yourself and just be like, you know what, if you don't like it, then you don't have to listen. I love
Hmm.
that. And I'm excited to dive in. I like how even in that question, you kind of showed your expertise with Facebook. You're talking about being on Facebook Live and being yourself. So I'm excited the direction this interview is already going with the very first question. Um,
Perfect.
and one add on to that, something I've been thinking about a lot lately, like with a business like mine or yours, when we're doing Facebook Lives, it's just like solopreneur kind of thing. What do you do if you have like a bigger company, like even just 10 employees? Like say you're a restaurant and you want to do Facebook Lives. So, I mean, should you do kind of what we do and just as the owner jump on Facebook Live and sit in the what would you recommend for that?
Yeah, I think it depends on the business, of course, but with someone who has a larger business or even one with more than one employee, handful of employees, restaurant, is to take people behind the scenes and maybe pop into, I don't know, pop into the kitchen and say, hey, wave hi, so and so who's cooking burgers right now, like that kind of thing. Just kind of giving people behind the scenes and making it they see your entire company, your entire business, and so they know that it's more than you who's really bringing everything together to run the show. So I just say, and just be yourself, like I said before, and just having a good time with it.
I like that because I think so many times people look to, and this is one of the things that stopped me from doing Facebook Lives forever. I just recently started doing them, but like one of the things that stopped me doing was like you see all these big companies like the ClickFunnels and Gary Vaynerchuk's and all these people, and anytime they do a live, it's like some big production, and they've got videos queued up and giant cards printed out, and like this whole thing. And it's like, well, I don't have the time or money or resources to have 8 people manning cameras and social media and everything. It's like just turn on the phone and go. You don't need a whole team necessarily to do Facebook Live
Hmm.
anymore. I mean, it's so obtainable now.
Yeah.
So
And I think there's an aspect of professionalism with a bigger company to have
that's
things
true.
like that.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important to have the really organic ones with maybe just me and chilling and just talking to people, and it's not a big deal. So I think having a good integration of both of those is good.
Nice. I like it. So we've already touched on it, but what would you consider your niche down marketing specialty? Just so everybody
Yeah,
knows.
so social media, specifically Facebook and organic marketing. So just page management, content creation, as well as the paid Facebook ads marketing.
Awesome. I'm excited to talk about this because right now, as we're recording this podcast, I'm still pre-launch. So I've got my Facebook page set up and I've done some Facebook lives as we mentioned, but currently I only have, I think, like 20 likes on my Facebook page. So I'm excited over the course of this interview to kind of get some nuggets of wisdom to figure out how to grow that. Cause like the podcast I've done before, I've had a podcast and it kind of organically grows because you have a distribution, but like not everybody has a podcast. So how do they grow
Mhm.
from just nothing? That for me, like
Yep,
I don't have that in my head right now. So I'm excited.
perfect.
So let's go ahead and get started in this. So what's something you see people do in their Facebook marketing that makes you cringe? Number one thing to avoid doing.
Overselling. A lot of people take the mindset and approach with social media of I have to tell people what I'm offering and make the ask and always be putting my information out there so that people know what I'm doing. And yes, that's important. At the same time, none of us really wants to be sold to all the time. And a big part of growing a page is connecting with people and being yourself, showing that you're a human being, and then people relate to that. And so seeing different posts, engagement questions, getting people involved, asking how they're doing, sharing a resource, that's really valuable to people instead of constantly selling, selling, selling. Hey, buy my stuff. Are you interested? Go to this link. But rather having a more holistic approach to marketing and speaking to the person as a whole, not necessarily the person as strictly a buyer.
Okay. So I feel like I've been doing that a little bit. I have been, I'm in the process of creating an online course for small businesses and entrepreneurs. So I'm pushing that a little bit, but like you said, I've, I've never been good at selling myself anyways. So that I feel like that's coming secondary. Um, but yeah, I like that. Not overselling. That is huge. I even in a Facebook group yesterday called somebody out because in a friendly way, we ended up having a cool conversation about it, but he posted in there, somebody asked like what the best platform for creating a course is. And they're like, is it Teachable? Is it Thinkific? All these different things. And he's like, none of them. You have to use this one. And it was like, he was trying to sell it. And I went to his personal page and he was a sales rep for that company. And I was like, I no longer believe your recommendation. I told him, I was like, you're discrediting of all these big platforms that I've heard of. It makes me not trust your recommendation of a platform I've never heard of. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we had a cool conversation about it, and he's like, "Well, I didn't realize I was coming across that way," you know. But it's like always trying to sell instead of just being helpful is not going to sell anybody in the long run. Like you said, people don't want to be sold all the time. Sometimes they just
Mm-hmm.
want to buy. That's cool. I love
Yep.
that tip. Awesome, awesome. All right, if you were to start your marketing for a business today and you had $1,000 in the budget, how would you spend it to get some more clients?
If I were in the same, say I were in the same niche and serving local businesses, I would join a business networking international BNI group. I joined one a couple months ago, and it's such a great opportunity to connect with local businesses. And so I would join one of those right away. I wish I had joined one sooner, but that's okay. Um, I would also join current program I'm in now. It's called Surfscale Soar, and it's run by Brandy Miles, and she helps service-based online entrepreneurs scale their business without hiring a team. And so that's something that, say I'm on the road, um, when we eventually hit the road, I don't want to be managing people. I still want to have a good, well running, profitable business without having a team necessarily, or at least relying on one. So would definitely join Surfscale Soar again. And those would probably be the biggest ones. Maybe hire someone to just put up a simple website instead of me putting all that together myself, just because that can just be a total drain of your time when you're not savvy with putting a website together. So yeah, BNI, Surfscale, Soar, and putting some money into someone putting together a website for me.
Nice. Surfscale soar. I'm gonna check that out. So what go over that really quick again because it sounds really cool. I just want to make sure I have like what do they do for you?
Yeah, so she covers, I mean, everything. So systems, getting backend systems running so you can keep things running smoothly. Um, how to reach clients, how to market yourself, how to like what content to create and put out there. And it's a really great community of people who just tackle the ins and outs of running an online service-based business. And the community is phenomenal. It's none like I've ever been in with this space. And it's a really supportive group of people. And Brandy's brilliant. And she's done so well with her business and is just so eager to share with people what she's done that has worked and help them do the same to grow their business and give them freedom. And what I've learned from her is what's moving us toward the freedom to travel. And I'm really grateful for that.
That's awesome. I'm gonna check that out. That sounds like a really cool resource. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I've got it written down here and I'm on her website. That's why I was checking that out as you were talking through it.
Perfect.
That's awesome. So what's the last book that you read that you would recommend?
This is my second time around, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I absolutely love it. It takes just a different approach to building habits and what does it look like to have goals and put systems in place to implement these habits, these actions to attain whatever goal you might be looking toward. And it's about who you want to be, not necessarily what you want to accomplish in developing habits. So it's so good. I read it with a mastermind last year, and now my husband are doing a book club, me and him, going through the book together, and it's really initiated some cool conversations with us. So that's been fun. It's a really, really good book.
I'm about to check that out because you're not the first. I was talking to somebody in person the other day and they recommended that to me and I was like, oh, that's cool. Check it out. And like,
Actually,
you're like the second
here it
person.
is.
Oh, you already have it queued up and everything. Atomic. There you go
That
by
was
James
not
Clear.
intentional. I just have my library stacked on my desk right here.
That's awesome. I'm hoping they have that on audio version because that's how I listen to
Do
most
it.
of the books I read. So I'm gonna check that one out. That's really cool.
I've listened to most of the audiobook. He does read it himself.
Oh,
It's really
nice.
good. I really, really like it.
I love it when they actually read the book themselves. I feel like it's just
Hmm.
more of a personal connection. That's really cool.
Yep.
Atomic Habits, everybody by James Clear. I'm going to check that out because you're not the first person. So obviously it's a good book.
Perfect.
Tell us the story of your biggest marketing mistake, a time when you wasted a lot of time or money trying something that just didn't work out.
Speaking of website, right there, I spent so much time in the very beginning. I bought this super sexy theme and it had all these cool um, aspects to it and different things you could do. And I vividly remember sitting at my kitchen table, swearing at the computer because I was so frustrated that I couldn't find this thing inside this setting and this part of the, and my husband was like, "You need to walk away." I know I do. I just want to finish it up. And then, the next day, I think I wasted, like, that's an hour of my life I will never get back being so mad at a computer. And yes, so that was probably the biggest thing is being so focused on technology that I wasn't creating the personal connections right away. I was probably hiding behind technology because I was nervous about putting myself out there. But last year, maybe I hired someone to just clean up my website, put something super simple together. And I was so thankful and I thought, why didn't I do this earlier? But it's totally worth the investment, something to outsource or just get a really simple theme and don't try
Yeah.
to do anything too exciting. But that was definitely a time and resource drain there.
Yeah. As you were saying that, like I I went to school for graphic design and part of like I took one class in coding websites. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, awesome, I'm going to learn how to code my first website. And I did. And oh my goodness, it was bad. And then I discovered WordPress. And like all this stuff is flashing through my head as you were talking about that. All of this, not just hours, days and weeks wasted on building websites. I remember one time I spent 2 hours trying to figure out how to change the color of a button, because it wasn't like you couldn't just click the button and change the color. You had to go in the back end, and oh my gosh, it is such a time suck. So yeah, if you're starting a business, if you're trying to get a business going, don't build your own website unless you have to. I mean, I just did an online course. It was like how to create like your funnel and everything through ClickFunnels, the One Funnel Away challenge. If you have something like that showing you the step-by-step walkthrough, but even then it's going to take a lot of time. That websites, they're difficult. It's, I love that example. I've wasted way too much time. And I still haven't fully learned my lesson. I still build my own websites, but I feel like at this point I know WordPress enough because I've wasted so much time on it. I'm actually pretty quick at it now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that is an
Yeah.
awesome
And
way to waste time.
Megan Cockrell with 2M Social, she has an online coaching program for people who want to run Facebook pages for people. And so in her coaching program, she gives her students a Wix template. So they take it and they are able to pop in information for their website. She has, okay, this is all you need. Here you go. You can take a half hour, customize it, boom, you're done. So
That's awesome.
there's resources, and we don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to get a website together. It's
Yes.
there's a lot of different options out there.
Yeah, that, like you said, I've kind of leaned towards getting a theme that's basically built kind of like that, getting a template. I use Thrive themes right now for mattpeet.com, and I did the same thing. I got that. I downloaded one of their templates, and I literally I changed the picture of a random dude to a picture of me and put my text there. Like, I I don't have time to sit down and become a website developer and designer. I'm just gonna go with what works. So yeah, that's an
Yep.
awesome tidbit right there. Don't build your own website. And if you do, get a
Right.
template that can be done really fast. Cause,
Mm-hmm.
and I also love what you said, like you're hiding behind technology because you're afraid to put yourself out there. That is powerful, because that's something I feel like people do. And I know I've done that they don't realize they're doing. They create,
I didn't
yeah,
realize I was.
yeah, you create this priority list and you're like, oh, well, as soon as I get the website done, then I can launch. As soon as I get this done, I can launch. And really what that is, just a stalling tactic for yourself, because you're afraid of putting things out there. So like, I think
Yep.
realizing that can change people's lives. And that one little sentence you just kind of offhand said right there, that is powerful. So do you have any other marketers? I know we've mentioned a couple here already that you follow for inspiration.
Well, if you think about like the really, really big names out there, no, but I do love Vincent Puglisi because he has a very different approach to marketing. So he's the founder of Total Life Freedom and now the Youth Entrepreneur School. And he is very relationship focused.
Yeah, he
And
is.
so he doesn't put all of this stuff out there like, hey, I'm Vincent, I'm awesome, come and buy my stuff. Like he's one-to-one, he's inside Messenger talking to people, and he's personally inviting people and following up and showing interest and being super generous. And he's all about curiosity and generosity. And that's how he's been able to really grassroots the movement that he's making in people's lives, because he's been so relationship focused, and that's had a huge impact on me and how I am connecting with people, that I don't have to be this huge platform and be a personality, because I don't want to be, but connecting with people and building relationships, being generous and being curious about what their needs and wants, and seeing how I can meet those.
I love that. And like you say, so relationship driven. I'm in the TLF community, and like that's why I joined. I met him at a podcast movement, I believe, which is one of the events I video for. And we were just talking, and then he messaged me on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
within a month later, and we were just talking, and he's like, well, I'm starting this thing, I think it could be really cool. He puts out a ton of content on the back end,
Yeah.
but like that relationship, that one-to-one relationship is what got me to sign up. I mean, I felt like he wasn't just trying to build some 100,000 person movement. He's keeping it small and serving that small audience. He's keeping it small on purpose now. I think he limits
Mm-hmm.
his mastermind to like 100 people now. So I mean,
Yeah, I think his online community caps it
yeah,
100. Yep. And he
yep,
interviews every single one.
yep. I mean,
You can't
yeah,
sign up right on the website. He
yep.
interviews every person.
Yep. And
Awesome.
he just recently got everybody, like asked everybody for their phone number so he can randomly just start calling people and connecting with them
Hmm.
that way. So I mean, that kind of stuff is super cool, especially when, like with your specialty, the local businesses. I mean, that's really obtainable for a local business because those connections you have, if you build them one to one, the smaller connections, they can serve you a lot more because
Hmm.
you're in that local community. I think that's huge. That's awesome. I might have him on to talk about more in depth about that because
Yes,
that
do
would be
it.
really cool to talk about how he like starts up those conversations. Because I'm not somebody who's going to go one to one talk to somebody and be like, hey, well, I'm starting this thing. I was wondering if you'd want to buy it, like buy into it, become a member or whatever. But like when he did that, I just felt taken care of. I felt like he actually cared. So I'd love to know his method of
Hmm.
when he's going to talk to somebody, what is his thought process? That's really cool. Awesome person there. Instead of just like you said, instead of throwing out a big name, you gave us some more nuggets of wisdom. So what's your favorite marketing tool and why?
Ooh, favorite marketing tool. Well, the easy answer is Facebook. But what I do really like about being able to work inside of Facebook for like scheduling content, managing a page, is there's this super sneaky thing called insights, which not a lot of people look into in the back end of a Facebook page.
Mhm.
And you're able to see, put a couple, say these other pages that you really like, you're able to see what their top performing posts are, and then you can share or comment on those. And so when you comment or share, like you're getting their Facebook magic because they have a really well performing post already. And so going in the behind the scenes with Facebook Insights, there's way too much in there, more than most people would need. But that one little thing, when I learned about that, I was like, oh, cool. And so you can see what's performing well with other people and how you might be able to incorporate that and share that. And then people on their pages are seeing you. And so there's this back and forth, awesome Facebook magic. And so that's a really, really great thing there. So maybe more of a functionality than a tool. But yeah, Facebook Insights and just the back end of stuff with a Facebook page, you can do a lot there.
So I've seen the Facebook, like the ads library where you can go and
Hmm.
see like the ads that companies are running. Is this
Yes,
is this
so
different
cool.
than that?
That's an awesome one too.
So this
Yeah,
isn't the
so what
same
I was
thing.
referencing, not the same. So what I was referencing was just the back end of a Facebook page. You go into insights and then you're able to see pages to follow. That's what it's called. And you can add them and see, okay, this page got 5,000 views and 7,300 million comments. And then you're able to see, okay, this is cool. I'm going to share this. And they're able to see that you shared their content. And so that's just a really great way to kind of hijack someone's engagement, and you're helping them and their content's helping you. But what you mentioned with the ads, so if you're on someone's page and you go to page transparency
Hmm.
and you can see if they're running ads, you can go see all their ads, which is really great for inspiration.
Yep.
And I mean, people could pull your ad copy verbatim, which is not cool,
Yeah.
but it's great for inspiration to see, okay, this is what someone's doing, what's working well for them. And sometimes it's surprising. And a lot of times it's things that aren't super polished. And Brandy Mouse, who runs Surfscale Soar, she has just some super fun short videos. And one of them, she's like, she's drinking simplicity juice. And it's just something that basic, but it's really powerful
Yeah.
because that's what connects with people. And I love, that's a really neat thing that a lot of people don't know about. They can go check out people's ads.
Yeah. So I talked about that a little bit that was one of my Facebook lives that I did. And I talked about it in my course a little bit, about ad hacking and like you said, not stealing their copy and stuff, but like going through a page that's getting a lot of interaction with their ads and saying, okay, well, this is their video and this is their copy for it. Like what is sticking out to people? Like I tell people to look at
Hmm.
those first few seconds because usually the first few seconds is what's going to grab somebody, or things like having the transcription at the bottom that'll grab people's attention, that
Yes.
kind of stuff. So I love that, but I'm gonna have to dive more into that insights and figure that out some more because that could be really awesome to see, all their different interactions and stuff that they're getting on just regular posts. That's brilliant.
Hmm. And
Awesome.
with
I
growing a
love it.
page, if people see you, because you can not only share their things but comment on there, and comment as your page, not as yourself as an individual, commenting as your page. And then people go, oh, hey, who's this Matt Peet guy? And then they go and they look at your page, maybe like your page. And that's a way to grow your page without doing a direct ask. It's just being generous and sharing other people's content.
That's awesome. I love that. So when you're on, so like I'm on a business page right now. So if I want to see their insights, how do I get to that?
So insights should be at the very top.
Okay.
But it has to be your page that you're an admin of, or
Gotcha. Okay.
that you're
Okay.
running. Yeah. And then you can find other pages inside of your page's insights and add them to your pages to follow. And then you're able to see their top performing posts.
Gotcha. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. I did that way back in the day. And then like, it was back when I was just doing wedding videography and I didn't really do much with it. But now I remember what you're talking about. That could be really cool when you're trying to build like an online business and that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm definitely going to be
Mm-hmm.
doing that because that is super, super smart.
Sweet.
Awesome. Awesome. So that's one way I'm going to grow my 20-person following on Facebook is I'm going to go do that today. All right.
Perfect.
Tricia, if you could go back to when you first started marketing and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't spend so much time on your website. People who do website builds are going to be like, come on, stop hating on websites. Although they could be getting business from people me who don't need to be doing their website. Because I do think websites are really important, but I think we put way too much into them. If that doesn't need to be our main platform, if website is super important for a certain industry, yes, get a good website made, but maybe not do it yourself. But I would get out there and connect with people more in the beginning. And whether I'm going out locally or doing it on Facebook or other platforms, just to connect with people and have that to be a person instead of like, hiding behind a website. And just, yeah, I'd say just being focused on relationships and relationship building. And even if it's just, air quotes, just through having conversations with people in Messenger and not even bringing up your business. If they're interested, it'll naturally swing around to what you're doing and you share. And if they're not going to use it, fine, they may know someone who will. And but yeah, just putting yourself out there, not being afraid of being you and taking ownership and just going for it instead of hiding behind technology.
I love that. And like you said, unless it's required for the industry, like if you're selling something e-commerce, obviously you have to have a place to sell that stuff. But like, I think that so many people, when it comes to their website, they think, oh, once I get a website up, then I'll have a lot of traffic and I can build my email list. And it's like, the website is not distribution. That's like posting to, it's like me creating a Facebook page and posting on that Facebook page and not sharing it anywhere and not promoting it anywhere. It's not just going to naturally just explode unless you just put out a great piece of content and the right people share it. You got to have that distribution. Building a website isn't going to make you rich. It's going to waste a lot of time. I love that.
Oh, there were times when people would say, hey, what's your website? So I can share it with so-and-so who's looking for this. And I'd say triciaprues.com, but it's a really bad website. Just tell them to email me. And but I mean, it's fine. And so having a website updated, yeah, that's important too. And I did that more recently with just cleaning up the copy, and so people know what I do. And but yeah, just being connected with people, being a human being, being a person, and growing relationships.
Awesome. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Tricia, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was absolutely amazing. For everybody else out there, remember, keep marketing your business. That is how you're going to grow. Appreciate you being on today's call. And everybody remember, marketing matters.